This is Hoodies. Alright. Let's do it. Whew. Some good water. Alright, man. Are we back? 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 Hey, are we back? 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 Yo, welcome back to another dope session of Hoodies the Podcast. I'm the host, the God Rashidi, coming at you live from the Skill Suite. Maybe not so live, but we coming at you. Let's put one in the ear for Hoodies the Podcast. Word, let's get right on into this thing. Yo, man, hey, it is already mid-August. You believe that? It is already mid-August. Before you know it, the holidays will be here. The holidays will be here. You know what I'm saying? And listen, don't sleep too long. As you wake up, it'll be New Year's Day. Word. Grateful for life, man. Grateful to still be here. You know, all my faculties. I'm grateful, man. So real quick, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to you if you got a born day today, man. Word. Whether you fresh out the womb or you've been here a while. Word out. I salute you. New life, more life. Have a blast, man. Have a blast. This is the day you were born. Word. Have a blast. You know what I'm saying? Same breath. You know? My condolences goes out to anyone who has lost a loved one today. You know what I mean? Grandparent, it doesn't matter. A parent, a sibling, a really good friend. My heart goes out to you, man. My condolences. Don't mean to depress you even more. Before we get into this, I just want to acknowledge, you know, some things people may be going through. Pain, great losses. You understand what I'm saying? You'll make it through this thing. My heart goes out to you, man. Dead ass. Shout out to anyone who's got a family member who's dealing with illness. You know what I'm saying? Working through some things, getting surgeries, and you know, going through all kind of processes, and it's just crazy. You know, some people got folk going through chemo, and man, shout out to everybody. I send you all some warm energy. In fact, I wish everybody abundance. My family, your family. In fact, everybody abundance, man, and good health and all those good things, man. So, look, real quick, I want to give an RIP real quick. Not too long ago, we had a moment of silence for Malcolm Jamal Warner, you know? So just, I want to say yesterday, happened to be scrolling through social media doing my thing and came across the passing of Dr. Danielspencer, also known as D from the, you know what I'm saying, the sitcom Whatshappening. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Listen, man, D was, at least on the show, of course, I know it personally, but on the show, D was like the little sister a lot of us had. You know what I mean? She reminded of us, but it was so funny though. But she reminded us of that annoying little sister. You know what I'm saying? Who was slick with the mouth, but also loving and warm as well. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these folk were staples, I guess you can say, in our households because these were shows that we watched and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, I would like to have a moment of silence for Danielspencer, also known as D, on what's happening. I'm not necessarily sure of her cause of death. I believe she was 60. I'm not necessarily sure what she was dealing with. I probably should have looked into that. I suppose right now it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, right now at this time, I would like for everybody listening, watching, listening, whatever, to have a moment of silence for Dr. Danielspencer. Word. My condolences to her family, other viewers of the show who, feel the same thing I feel uh, when they think of her. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Yeah, it's always something when we lose people, man. We're losing them left and right. I guess that just goes to show that there's no way around it. You know what I'm saying? Death and taxes. Death and taxes. But anyway, man, how y'all doing, man? How's everybody feeling? Everybody good? Normally I give everybody the whole spill of, we only got, three choices. It's either make it, or make it. And while that's true, listen, man, I want to also acknowledge that I acknowledge that everybody's just doing the best they can. And going about it the best way possible to do the best way that they can, trying to get through this thing called life. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, I send everybody some warm energy. Everybody watching this right now, I send you some warm energy. I don't care who you are. Family that I'm close with or not close with. Talk to or not talk to. Even to you watching this right now, man. Shout out to everybody who's going through a things that don't nobody else know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? So I hope y'all are well. I'm well. Once again, thank you for the good energy. I keep sending y'all some. That's how that works around here. So I think I've talked long enough in this intro. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. All right? Let's go, man. All right, so listen, man. What I want to talk about today is applicable to a wide range of people. I'm saying everybody, right? I don't care what your lifestyle is. I don't care what you into. I don't care if you're an activist of sorts. Say a black nationalist, Pan-Africanist, a civil rights activist. Maybe you're an advocate for the youth, like a mentor or something like that. I don't care what medium you use to reach the youth, be it through sports like chess, baseball, basketball, football, wrestling. Did I say boxing? Combat sports, stuff like that. I don't care if it's through, there's some folk who mentor through apprenticeship. You know what I'm saying? It could be auto mechanic, situation. And they use that as the medium to mentor. Some people use cheerleading and dancing, and there's all kinds of mediums. So I don't care if you're a part of the Nation of Islam and you're out there, moving the final calls and moving the bean pies. I don't care if, you're a part of a church whose mission is to get out there and recruit folk to come be a part of the fold, the congregation. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. You could be a barber, a school teacher, whoever. With all of those things, I think I covered everybody, but I think y'all get it if I did. Out of all of those things, there comes a certain touch, a certain grace in order to do these things, to conduct ourselves in these worlds, if you will. Right? There's a grace that comes with it. So what I'm saying is, you got to be cool. It's the best way I could put it. Right? And I'm going to start this off with a quote, right? And that quote is, the moment you try to be cool, you're not. Here's another quote. Bad man don't lose him cool. You know what I'm saying? Meaning a real gangster don't never get flustered or off his square. You stay cool. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the first part, the moment you got to act like it, then you ain't cool, fam. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. So being cool, though, before I get into that, once again, I'm about to break y'all off with seven blood clot components to being cool. All right? About to tell you what cool really is, man. Check me out. So first of all, like I was going to say, is that this is what cool isn't. Cool is not about having like the latest colorway in Jordan 3s. Yeah, they look dope, but that's not what cool is about. It's not about that. If you're a brother. Matter of fact, Jordans, everybody wears Jordans. Young, old, white, black, and everything in between. Right? It's also not about wearing a leather jacket and some aviator lenses. You know what I mean? That's not what cool is. Cool is more so about how you make people feel, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Okay, people think being cool, right, is they think it means to be trendy. You know what I'm saying? They think it's about trendiness. They think it's about status or fashion, like I was kind of saying with the sneakers and the jacket or whatever. You know what I mean? So, all right. What cool really is, dead ass, what actually is cool is when one, be it man or woman, practices confidence, authenticity, and I'm gonna say self-possession. Right? Being authentic is just simply just being you. You know what I'm saying? First, you got to be comfortable with being you. Once you get comfortable with being you, that's where the confidence comes in at. Because you going to be you. I got me. Self-possession. Dig what I'm saying? All right. So, okay. Well, number one was, I'm hold on. Let's back up a little bit before I go any further. Number one was the quote. That's number one. The moment you got to act cool, you're not. Okay. Component number two, just so y'all can catch up. One was the quote. Two is the definition of cool. Right? What it isn't. It's not about trendiness, status, or fashion. Because what it actually is about confidence, authenticity, and I said what? Self-possession. Right? So now we're on 3. The third component, right? I'm going to tell you about the myths about being cool. Here's the myth. The myth. One myth is you got to be popular to be cool. You know what I mean? Mad friends. You know what I'm saying? Mad friends to be cool. You know, I suppose being part of the in crowd would be that. You know what I mean? Always outside. Everybody know you on the Ave. Everybody know you. You got to be popular. You know what I'm saying? Another myth is, you got to look a certain way. Again, with the sneakers, you gotta have the freshest Jordan 3s. You know what I'm saying? You gotta sag, which is crazy because the way y'all sag now is different from how we sag back in my time. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all is crazy, but that's another situation. But that's a myth. Having to look a certain way to be cool. You know what I'm saying? Or that another myth, still on 3. We're still on 3. Another myth is like cool people never care about nothing. Right? See, this is the reason why you always scroll through like X and scroll through Instagram, maybe TikTok or whatever, and you scroll up or down or whatever, and you see mad people fighting. Mad people fighting, getting jumped. You always see people fighting. People think being cool is not caring about nothing. Not okay, I get not wanting to show weakness and all that, right? But people have confused that with suppressing how they really feel about shit. You know what I'm saying? Because the real truth is cool really is about caring. It's really about being present. It's not about not caring. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why everybody's so angry. You mad? You mad? And of course you can't show you mad because you a man. And if you show you mad, then that means that person got the best of your emotions. And as a man, we're supposed to be in control of our emotions. Whoop-de-whoop. And so we think to be cool is to not care about anything. And that's not true. I get never letting them see you sweat. But that's stupid. With all due respect. The real cool is about being present. It's about presence and not performance. You ain't got to move like you don't care about nothing. You know what I'm saying? Especially people. Your own family. That ain't cool. You know what I mean? How is it about being popular? Popular folk are some of the shookest folk. You know what I'm saying? They like Mitch. Yeah, I could leave the league. But if I leave, the fans still gonna love me, man. Shout out to Mekhi Phifer. You know what I mean? Cool again, it's about presence, not performance. You don't have to perform and be popular and look a certain way to be cool. That falls in the category of once you gotta try, you not. So, number four, bro, man, fifth flow, right? Number four, I want to talk about the core traits of coolness. The core traits of coolness. Self-assurance without arrogance. For example, I can think that I'm the shit at something. But that don't mean I gotta put other people down in order to do it. See, like I can be a cool dude, but I ain't gotta talk down about a man, say around his friends or even his woman. People, there's people who do that. There's dudes who do that. There are men who have to, speak, excuse me, ill of another man in order to gain favor with a woman or with women. And see, now I feel like I should stop myself because if you feel like you got to do that, then you're not self-assured. But okay, let's entertain that though. Say you are self-assured, but you're just arrogant. And an arrogant motherfucker will speak ill of another man to prove to possibly a woman that he's the better man, rather than just being self-assured and leaving it there. Women love confidence. That's what attracts them, not the money. Women aren't necessarily, some women are attracted to a man with money because that spells security for her, right? I'm not saying that. But women like that usually fizzle out and end up, I don't know. They not all of them, but a lot of them go in with a plan. Not saying all of them. Some of them go in with a plan, get pregnant, boom. Now I got your ass for child support or whatever. Marry him for a number of years, boom. Now I'm getting spousal support, whatever. So sure, a man can be attractive in that sense because the money brings security, yeah. But what most women are attracted to is the confidence that comes with having money. That's what they're attracted to. If you a Debbie Down ass dude, but you got dough, a woman will fuck with you, but it's just for the money, as opposed to fucking with you because I like his style. That's cool. He believes in himself. He ain't got to talk ill about nobody. He's self-assured and ain't got to be arrogant about it because he's too busy being confident. You get what I'm saying? Another trait of coolness is when someone is genuinely curious about others. Now, that doesn't mean people will open up as you inquire and ask questions and things like that. But a cool cat is curious about other people. Another trait is staying calm in chaos. That's hard because we all dealing with triggers. You know what I'm saying? Triggers and stuff like that. So that can be hard. But with a lot of focus, I believe focus, I don't know, maybe therapy, meditation, it is possible. You know what I'm saying? I believe we are all capable of being in control of our emotions, which will then, put us in a position to where we're in control of our actions as well. You understand what I'm saying? And again, kind of touching on what I was talking about earlier, another trait to coolness is, having your own style. Having your own style. Again, I'm saying this is applicable to everybody. I don't care if you're part of the FOI, NOI, the UNIA, Black nationalists, Pan-Africanists, the activist. I don't care who or what you are, a politician. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have your own style. You see what I'm saying? Minister Farrakhan has a style. Brother Minister Malcolm had a style. Brother Martin had a style in which they talked, a style in which they moved. Brother Barack had a style. And even Donald Trump has a style. You know what I'm saying? It's in how you talk, how you move, how you dress. And listen, probably most importantly out of all of them, it's how you think. It's how you think. All things we can control. Right? Number 5. Right? How to build coolness naturally. Follow me now. Follow me now. Follow me now. Invest in your passions. Invest in your passions. For a lot of us, we don't have a lot of money to invest in our passions, so invest your time as best you can. Every chance you get into your passions. Cool people are interesting because they're interested. You know what I'm saying? Again, cool people are interesting because they're interested. You know what I'm saying? Invest in your passions. Whatever it is you want to be a photographer, invest in that. Or, maybe invest in some time to learn how to be a photographer, maybe a better photographer, barber. Maybe your bag is spiritual work. Invest in your passions. Reach out to people. Invest your time learning more about it. Right? Another component to building coolness naturally is practicing self-awareness. Yeah, being self-aware, that's key. Having some sense of self-awareness, right? Know your strengths and your quirks. Know what you're capable of and what you're not. Another component is listen more than you speak. That's another hard one because everybody always got something to say. Everybody's got a podcast. You know what I mean? Everybody's got a smartphone with a camera. Everybody's in a car ranting and raving about one thing or another. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got something to say. When in fact, it's hard because, like I said, everybody's got something to say. But being cool ain't about that. Being cool ain't about running your fucking mouth. You know what I'm saying? Listen more than you speak. But then when you do speak, speak with intention. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people love to talk. I'd rather talk more with intention. Another component, man, it ain't heavy. Be okay with not fitting in everywhere. It's okay. Not every bag is, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just certain things that just ain't my cup. Clubs ain't my cup no more. I don't fit in anymore. And even when I was younger, I didn't fit in everywhere. It's okay. Be okay with that. Be okay with it. Everything ain't for you. Number 6. All right. Number 6. Number 6. We're getting there. We're getting there. This is happening fast. Number 6. Number 6 is pitfalls to avoid. I keep saying number 6, number 6. I'm trying to get my thoughts together. You know what I mean? Pitfalls to avoid. Here's some pitfalls to avoid. Avoid the pitfall of overcompensating for insecurity. That's not cool. Y'all remember, well, some of you may, but some of the old footage of Mike Tyson, when you'd see him in these workups for fights. And, one old fight, of course, all of it's old, but one fight where he starts yelling out to the crowd, "Fuck you, faggot. You wouldn't last a day in my world, faggot. I'll fuck you in your ass and make you love me, faggot. I'm twice the man. You can't come close to the man I am," or something to that. I'll fuck you in your ass and make you love me, you.
I mean, if I fuck you in your ass, you punk white boy, you faggot. You can't touch me, you're not man enough. I eat your asshole alive, you bitch. Fuck you, you hoe. Come and say in my face, fuck you, ass for everybody. You bitch. Come on, you bitch. You're scared coward. You not man enough to fuck with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch.
And later on, Mike Tyson, in a documentary about himself, he was talking about that incident, and he was talking about all of that was coming out of fear. Fear. Insecurity. I'm not good enough. He grew up being picked on. That's how he ended up becoming a fighter. You know what I'm saying? He became a fighter because he didn't want to be picked on no more. I've always liked Mike Tyson. I've always thought that Mike Tyson was misunderstood back when he used to get like bad press a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that, I want to say that's a pretty decent example of overcompensating. You know what I'm saying? You're scared. Dogs do that too. They're afraid, so they overcompensate by being really aggressive. Well, not trying to compare that to Mike Tyson, but I suppose we're all animals. We're probably all animals trying to be human. You know what I'm saying? Another pitfall to avoid is copying others instead of finding your lane. You know what I'm saying? I would say that goes into having your own style. You know what I'm saying? If I do say so myself, and I know this isn't about me, right? But I've always been comfortable being me. I ain't never wanted to be nobody else but me. You know what I'm saying? I've always thought of myself as a cool cat. I've done some not so cool things in my life, but yeah, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I say that about myself is because I don't copy nobody else. Now, don't get me wrong. We do borrow, if we're talking professionally, we do borrow certain keywords from folk, from elders, people we may seek counsel with. We may take a little bit of something and then incorporate that into our own shit, whether you're a boxer or a barber or a truck driver. Somebody might do a particular thing with the steering wheel and oh snap, oh wow, I can back in like that. And so you'll add your own flavor to it. So I don't know if that's copying. You understand what I'm saying? Because there is a thing, mentorship is real. You know what I mean? But find your lane. That probably goes with being happy with who you are as a person. Being happy with who you are. When you happy with who you are, you ain't worried about what nobody else is doing. The only way you should be worried about what somebody else is doing is if that person is like competition in your field or your sport or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Stay in your own lane. You know? Another pitfall to avoid is acting aloof to the point of being unkind. What is being aloof? Let's break that down real quick. Aloof means to be emotionally distant. Right? It means to be emotionally distant, detached, uninvolved. You know what I'm saying? Like you're keeping yourself apart from everybody on purpose. You've seen that. Some people at a function and they're acting all, you know. But here's the flip side to to being aloof. Here's the flip side, right? Let's look at both sides. Can we do that? You ain't got no choice because this is what it is, right? Okay, so being aloof, it's not always about being rude. It's not always about being rude. Sometimes aloofness, it could come off as being mysterious or reserved. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes. But other times it can be deemed, it could be deemed as being cold. You know what I'm saying? It could be deemed as being maybe uninterested. You know what I'm saying? For example, right? For example, somebody at a party, you know, you're at a party, somebody's at a party doing a little diddy bop. You know what I'm saying? A little diddy bop. Hey, you know what I'm saying? A little diddy. No, that's not a diddy bop. That ain't a good diddy bop. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Diddy bop. A little diddy bop. Saying maybe you got a little drink in your hand, doing your thing. Of course, just trying to emulate a cup with something. Yo, when I was in this club, what's the name of this club? Called Red Lion. There was another club called The Cellar. Is that the name of it? Either way, Red Lion, The Cellar was one and the same. And I would always get this drink. They didn't put very much in the glass, but it was very strong. The name of the drink was called A Beautiful. Not A Beautiful, but the name of the drink was called Beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Figure out how to make myself one. And I've asked one here in like the mainland, and nobody knows what that is. But anyway. So you're in the club, you're doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You're doing your thing. Like, being aloof is like you're being friendly, but you keep it to yourself. You're watching more than you participating. You're doing your little diddy bop, sipping your drink. You know what I'm saying? But you watching more than you participating. You know, I don't know. That might be a reach. That right there might be 50-50. That might just be a person who's just cooling out about themselves. So I don't know if that was a good example or not. I'll try to do better. But how about this? How about this? Okay. So what I just gave, that's aloofness, but not necessarily the bad type. I suppose the bad type would be if somebody's ignoring a conversation and acting like they too good to be there. You know what I'm saying? Acting like they too cool to be there. Like, you remember that video that ain't nothing but a G thing video with Snoop and Dre, and then at the little function, everybody was dancing, doing that little dance, and she walked in, she touched the banister and moved her fingers and whatnot, and act like she was just too good to be there. You know what I mean? And at the end, everybody sprayed her with malt liquor. They sprayed her with malt liquor. Some might even debate maybe she deserved that shit. Another story. But anyway, that's some negative aloofness. Acting like you too good for what you even come there for. You know what I'm saying? So there's a fine line with being aloof. You know what I'm saying? There's an aloof that can be intriguing, right? Then there's an aloof that makes you seem unapproachable. One can intrigue people and the other one can make you seem unapproachable. Standoffish, maybe. We're down a rabbit hole, fam. So just enjoy the ride. Let's go down this rabbit hole. Another good aloof or intriguing form of aloofness, that's a word, that's intriguing and not necessarily bad, is what I'm saying, is that when you're selective about your energy. You know what I'm saying? You don't jump into every conversation, but when you do, you're present and engaging. So you ain't always talking. You ain't always running your mouth. You're selective about your energy. That can be an intriguing aloofness, if you will. Not necessarily offensive. Noticeable, but not necessarily offensive. You know what I'm saying? When you're calm. You know what I'm saying? And then not overly reactive. See, that type of aloofness can give you a composed vibe. You know what I'm saying? Right? Okay. Yeah, that was a little rude, but okay, I understand you. All right, let's talk. See? You know, you're calm, you're not overreactive. It gives you this composed energy about you. You know what I'm saying? Another good aloofness is when you give people space to approach you. Give them some room to approach you instead of chasing their validation. That's another hard thing, because a lot of us, low key, that's what we want, for being honest. And that's due to some childhood shit. Allow people some room to approach you. For example, you're at a gathering. You're at a function or something, a little gathering, a little shindig. And you chatting with some people, chopping it up, laughing. You know what I mean? Hey, what's Jaylen Brown gonna do next season? Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. Y'all laughing. But then you step away to go get a drink. Maybe go talk to some other folk. You know what I'm saying? You're not glued to nobody, but you're not ignoring them either. That's an aloofness of the good sort, of the good kind, if you will. Now, the unapproachable aloofness, the bad aloof, is an example of that would be if you showed no eye contact. You know what I'm saying? No eye contact. One word answers. I hate that when you're in a conversation and you just get one word answers. Or you stay glued to your phone. That's some bad aloofness. There's another word for that. But we'll just go with some bad, unapproachable aloofness. You know what I'm saying? Another bad form of aloofness is when you make other people feel like you don't want them to be there. You know what I mean? When you make people feel like there's an energy. I'm telling you, energy don't lie. There's a frequency. People can feel that shit. You can walk into a room and feel the energy in there. I'm gonna stop playing, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the bad aloofness. Making other people feel like you don't want them there. You know what I'm saying? Or say like when you somehow with your body language, you signal to people around you that I'm better than this, or I'm better than you. You give off that energy rather than, I'm comfortable with myself. See, there's a fine line with that aloofness. You know what I'm saying? That bad aloofness, that shit ain't cool, fam. So, okay, all right, let's bring this all together. So from going through all these steps and listening to myself, right, it appears that aloofness, see, it seems that it only works if it's paired with some warmth. We in that rabbit hole. We in that rabbit hole. We in it. But yeah, it's when aloofness, it only works if it's paired with warmth. When you connect. You know what I'm saying? When it's paired with warmth, that's what makes it intriguing instead of, say, off-putting. I've never used that term before, off-putting. You know what I'm saying? So that's the general rule. If you're going to be aloof, let it be warm. One last thing before we get off aloofness. One last thing. And hopefully it's the last thing. Okay, I said it best works when it's paired with warmth so that you're intriguing and not off-putting. Since we're in the rabbit hole already, how about this? Along with that, be just distant enough to be mysterious, but warm enough to be remembered. Boom. That's the sweet spot right there. That's the sweet spot. So, finally, number 7. That was a long number 6, but the word aloof took me somewhere. Right? Number 7. Right? This right here is the wrap up, or the mic drop, if you will, of you know what I mean, the seven components, right? And this, just like the first one, is, I guess you can call it a quote, right? Cool, as I said, is simply not what you wear. It's what you radiate. You know what I said about confidence and, you know, all that good stuff. So it's what you radiate. You know what I mean? Again, it's when you're comfortable with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And listen, if you can do that, if you can understand that being cool is not what you wear, it's what you radiate, and that when you're comfortable with yourself, is if you got all that going on, if you know that it's not what you wear and it's what you radiate, and you're comfortable with yourself, then as far as I'm concerned, you are already the coolest person in the fucking room. That's what I'm trying to say. I know I went about that the long way. Right? You know what I'm saying? But when you realize that it's not what you wear, you know what I mean? It's what you radiate. What are you radiating? Fuck what you wearing. What do you radiate? What are you radiating? What frequency are you on? What's your vibe? You an arrogant ass nigga? You an arrogant ass broad? You decide that. It's not what you wear, it's what you radiate. Are you comfortable with yourself? If you realize it ain't got nothing to do with what you're wearing, it's about who you are. You know what I'm saying? You'll become comfortable with yourself. And once you do all that, man, you the coolest person in the room. You ain't even got to try. Word up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all follow those 7 components and you will indeed be cool. Dead ass. Word. Alright, so y'all already know the deal. So I did dig up some sports news. So speaking of Jaylen Brown again, a brief moment we spoke about Jaylen Brown. So as per Courtside Heat NBA, that's the handle on the gram. They them whatever quoted some dude named Bob Cousy, whatever. Let's say Bob Cousy. Bob Cousy says he isn't sold on the skill of Jaylen Brown. Says Jaylen Brown is not quite the superstar level that Tatum is at. Can he carry the load by himself? I see a major rebuilding effort here. Jaylen certainly won't be bringing him to the promised land. I don't know who Bob Cousy is, but hey, listen, man. I ain't even gonna trip. I could say a couple things, but shit, at the end of the day, there's some parts of that I agree with. We don't know what Jaylen Brown is capable of doing night in, night out by himself. We about to find out. Now, we see how he is with Tatum on the floor. We see how he is when Tatum is out a certain number of games. But being the number one option for the foreseeable future, probably until at least January. So, you know, whoever Bob Cousy is, we're about to find out, aren't we? So I ain't mad. It's all good. I understand. We don't know, if we're being honest. We don't know, man. Let's see. We got some more sports news. Sports news is right here. Oh, yeah. So I spoke about Marcus Morris a couple episodes back about his casino debt or whatever. As per NBA Central, credible source, Marcus Morris has paid off all his casino debt. So I'm assuming that with that, he should be in the clear. He should be free now, in the clear. So, yeah, it ain't deep. That's all I gotta say about that. Well, except for the fact that I'm glad this brother was able to pay off his debt. Dead ass. You know what I'm saying? That's always a good thing. In other sports news, Deontay Wilder turns down Canelo Crawford undercard. As per Seconds Out Live, it's the handle on the gram, says that Deontay Wilder declines off on Canelo Crawford undercard. And that fight's getting ready to come up. Damn, I'm excited. So I wonder why he did that. It's a bag. But I understand. Deontay Wilder's used to being a main attraction. So to be on an undercard, as far as he's concerned, is probably, you know what I mean? It's probably a step down for him. And he probably don't want that. You know what I'm saying? It says here, with Gerald Miller confirming that Jared Anderson has pulled out of the expected fight set for the blockbuster event. Big Baby wants a fight with Deontay Wilder, but it has reportedly been turned down by the Bronze Bomber. Okay. All right. One would think he would go ahead and get the bag, but maybe he's already got the bag and is at a point in his life where he can pick and choose who he wants to fight and how he wants to fight and where. So I can't be too mad at that. You know, he's his own man. And yeah, man, as far as sports news, that's about all I got. In other news, listen, to this day, according to screenshot this on someone's page. Handle is imp.press. Impress. Her post says, I'm assuming it's her, Empress, right? Says New Jersey State Police have released their 2025 Most Wanted list, placing 77-year-old Joanne Chesmard, y'all know who that is, well as Joanne Deborah Chesmard, also known as Asada Shakur, right, at the top. Asada Shakur is at the top of the 2025 Most Wanted list, offering up $2 million for information leading to her return to the States. Asada was convicted in 1973 in the murder of a state trooper, Werner Forster. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's Werner Forster. She escaped prison in 1979. If you read her book, well, that's still an escape. But if you read her book, it was orchestrated. How she got out and went to Cuba, Havana, in 1984. Well, she's been in exile since 1984. Right? In light of her decades in exile at her age, the New Jersey State Trooper is allocating there's such significant resources to this case, the best use of law enforcement's time and taxpayer dollars? I guess what they're asking is this the best use of law enforcement's time and taxpayer dollars? Going after 77-year-old Asada Shakur for a crime that has not been proven, a crime that she stands firm on having not done. Since 1984. Well, ultimately 1973. And that's all I got to say about that. One more thing before leaving this, I guess, subtopics. Here is a little list right here. A little list of little things that aren't so little. Okay. Someone remembering how you take your coffee. Or a text that says, I'm here if you need me. A smile that reaches you on a hard day. A plate made for you before they sit down. The comfort of someone staying close when you go quiet. A joke shared just to see you laugh. A door held open when your hands are full, literally and emotionally. A glance that checks in without words. A hug that feels like home. These right here are the little things that carry a lot of weight. These are the little things that aren't so little. These are the little things that do carry a lot of love, a lot of warmth, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Word. All right, so before I get out of here, Shout out to everybody who showed up at the Pawns for Purpose youth initiative. It popped off on Sunday. I showed up Monday. Now, granted, this initiative, this event, didn't necessarily go down the way we wanted it to. There was not the amount of participation that we thought we'd get. We definitely promoted the hell out of it. I myself here on the pod, on on our socials, all those things. However, it was still a blast. There was some issues with the chess coach and the organizer, which is Ja Quinn, club named Brother Shaka. He's the former president of the Skill Youth Chess Club. This is his situation, like I said last episode. So it was pretty cool just watching him do a lot of the things he saw me do, and then some things that I've never done. Like as far as getting resources for food and things of that nature. I didn't have to get donations and things of that nature, even though I did have some, but I didn't necessarily have to have that. I just funded it myself. He's in a different situation, and I saw him go up to a manager at a Kroger out, I think it was Kroger out in Portsmouth, and talk to the manager, Brother Monty. Forget his last name is Brother Monty. Good brother. Real good brother. Good brother. Brother Monty at the Kroger out in Portsmouth. On it's around High Street. Yeah. So talked to him. Brother was supportive. Donated some fruit. Now Kroger itself couldn't do it. Matter of fact, I know it was Kroger because I remember him saying Kroger can't do it. But go ahead and grab what you need. Whoop de whoop. Just make sure it's not above a certain amount. I don't want to say what it was. We did that, and he fronted that. He fronted that for this initiative. So shout out to Brother Monty. But I watched Brother Shaka talk to this brother, and it was amazing to see. Now that's something that see what I mean about borrowing, just tools and little nuggets of information from someone else and then incorporating that into your own. That's exactly what Ja Quinn has done. So he showed great leadership. And, he's still getting his legs. He's still getting his bearings with this. So, but it's coming along just fine. Same thing I went through. Only I was a little older when I did it. So it's good that he's starting younger. I'm proud of him. And salute to everybody who was a part of this initiative. His peers, some of the members from my chess program, and one thing I didn't say, you may be wondering, well, what happened with the raffles and the giveaways and the backpacks and things of that nature? Now, that's one of the things that also didn't pan out the right way either. Because, and I'm not here to speak ill of anyone. I'm not going to say no names. I'm not going to say who they are affiliated with. Because, see, that's another thing about staying calm, which makes that's another trait of being cool. You know what I mean? You don't want to start speaking ill and ruin another opportunity just because things didn't go right this time. You see what I'm saying? But the funding that was supposed to be had, that was actually going to fund the backpacks, the supplies and things of that nature, this individual pulled out at the last minute. That changed things a bit. People pulled out. Those who really meant well had to pull out because there was just things that didn't pan out due to the funding being pulled back. That's also new for me because I would fund a situation myself or with donations. So that's a lesson that young brother Ja Quinn has just learned. Instead of, so along with investors or, folk who are going to donate monies to a particular situation, also has some fundraising going along with it as well. So we're not going to say no names, but that just ultimately changed things because this was supposed to be a paid event is what I'm trying to say. So we're talking days where folk would now not be getting paid. And for those who can afford to take days off at a moment's notice, to just take a few days off without setting some things up, and especially if they're entrepreneurs, that changed things a bit, right? But was still a super dope situation. Members of the Nation of Islam came by. Oh, and by the way, another thing I just remembered to bring up. This initiative was held at a bookstore. But it's more than just a bookstore. I believe it's like a bookstore where you can sip wine while you read. Shit, there's a damn salon in the back. It's real dope. It's not antique furniture, but the feel feels antique. It's called the Book Club on High in Portsmouth. I believe it's 620 High Street. That sister, her son was also a part of the initiative. He's 16. I think his name is, I want to say, Isaiah. So that's cool. She made mention of him possibly joining my program. So shout out to Sister April is her name. Sister April for allowing Brother Jaquin the space to conduct this initiative, the space to pull this event off. So it still turned out pretty dope. It was still beautiful in spite of the setbacks. Like I said, members from the Nation of Islam came in there. We had a couple bean pies. It was cool. Just watching young brother Shaka do his thing. It was like, it reminded me a lot of myself. And once again, like I said, man, when you plant a seed, it was wonderful to see. So salute to Brother Jaquin. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep showing up. Keep doing your thing. Also, do not be discouraged by folk pulling out. Who knows? Maybe for whatever reasons that they didn't explain, they had to pull funding. Maybe you could use them another time. So do not be discouraged by this. This is part of the job. This is part of being an advocate of any kind. Especially if it requires a venue and funding to pull some things off. So salute to you, young brother, and just keep doing your thing. Word up. Shout out to Jaquin. Shout out to his moms and everybody who's in his corner. Hey, shout out to myself. Shout out to the members of the chess club who went through and participated to make this thing possible. It was dope, man. Word. That's about all I got. Once again, I want to shout out everybody who's still showing up every day and they're going through a thing. Shout out to you. Salute to you. It's not easy, and you're composed and don't nobody even know. That's some cool shit too. That's cool. Being involved in the community, and things like that. That's cool. Word up. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. So I'm gonna thank y'all for watching. Thank you for listening to me babble. Thank you for your likes, subs, and your shares. I think I got a couple new subscribers. I'm starting to grow, man. Word up, starting to grow. Shout out to everybody. Once again, I wish abundance upon everybody. I want everybody to eat. I want everybody to be good. You know what I mean? Because yes, we do got to make it. And yes, those three choices is to make it, or make it. Word up. I'm the God Rashidi. Thank y'all for watching once again, man. I'm the God Rashidi. This is Hoodies. Y'all stay up, man. This is real. This was cool. Word. I'm the God Rashidi. Peace. Hey. This is Hoodies.